My name is JDog653, and this is my Pac-Man World 2 Any Percent submission video for Summer Games Done Quick 2016. Timing for this run starts when I press New Game, and ends with the final flip kick on Spooky. So, we select my timer. 3, 2, 1, go. Now, when I submitted this run, I gave an estimate of an hour and 30 minutes, which is a very modest estimate for my current PB of hour and 17. The world record for this game is 45 minutes, so I'm quite a ways off, but I'm continuously learning and continuously improving. So, World 1 is a very easy world, very basic platforming, just getting the user used to the game. This is where we're first introduced to rev rolls, which is Pac-Man's way of charging himself up and rolling around quickly. Now these rev rolls, as you'll see later in the run, can be heavily abused to break sequence and to clip out of bounds. For right now, we're just going to use them to go fast. So you might notice that every time I do a butt bounce, which is Pac-Man jumping down on top of something and breaking it, I also do a flip kick. This is because doing the flip kick after the butt bounce, or really any jump at all, reduces his landing lag and allows me to do more actions quicker. So Canyon Chaos is the first level where we see the benefits of what we call butt bounce hitboxing. And that is when Pac-Man does a butt bounce, the hitbox underneath him is extended so that we can butt bounce on the corner of platforms, and still the game will think that we've butt bounced on something solid. This is useful because we can jump on the very corner of a platform and use that to gain extra distance that wasn't intended, which can also be used to break sequence. Like in World 4, we will do a skip that requires us to use butt bounce hitboxing. Pac-Dot Pond has an interesting skip in it called Waterless, using the same kind of idea that we used before of using the same idea of using geometry in the level to give Pac-Man a vertical boost when rev rolling. Coming up, we're going to use a plant and use that to jump over the water and onto a platform in the middle of it. And if we do that successfully 2 more times with buttons, then we will have skipped the entire water section, hence why it's called Waterless. So that was the first one. Oh, that's unfortunate. We were really close on getting the second one. And so by following those islands in the middle of the water and rolling off the buttons, we would have been able to skip all the water, which saves time in swimming. So coming up is Blinky's Killer Frog, the first of the bosses and the boss of World 1. He has a mechanical frog which shoots out a spiked ball on a wooden tongue. Now I'm going to be completing this boss the intended way, because I haven't put significant practice into the optimal strat for this. But if my run is accepted, this is one of the things I will practice mercilessly until I become incredibly consistent on this. So the strat is to rev roll into the side of the frog's mouth, where the hitbox for his uvula is. And by hitting that, you can actually hit the uvula through the side of the mouth, which is definitely not intended, and cause damage to him multiple times during one round. But on top of that, when you pause the game, the iframes on the frog do not pause. So you can pause the game and wait for his iframes to wear out, and in the middle of the air, which means once you unpause, you can hit him again and get a very clean one-cycle hit on Blinky, which is what the optimal strats are to do. But it's actually quicker for me personally to complete the boss the intended way and take the time hit. Because if I try the strats, I usually end up dying. Now, World 2 is very largely based around trees and mid-air trampolines. Now, combined with rev rolling, these are ripe for sequence breaks. First sequence break we will be seeing in just a bit. It's a very minor one, but a sequence break nonetheless. Using this trampoline, we rev roll off the side of it and skip a couple of extra platforms that we would have to do. Here is a major skip. Rev rolling off the side of a box. Oh, that's unfortunate. Onto those platforms over there, which, if you play the game the normal way, are about 3/4 of the way through the level. So by rev rolling into the void off of a box, we effectively skip 3/4 of this level. The camera really likes to troll me sometimes. Now from here on, the rest of the level is pretty much smooth sailing. Roll up and off this tree branch here, and then roll to the goal. Treewood Forest does not boast as big of a sequence break as the first level does, but it still has some interesting elements to it, like optimization of trampolines and such. Cool camera, guys. So this would be a pretty good time to read donations. Not a whole lot's going on in terms of speedrun. This is just, careful platforming. The real meat comes in Butane Pain, which is the next level after this, where we abuse a metal power-up to... We don't abuse a metal power-up, sorry. We abuse butane burners to skip the need to get a metal power-up. I'm low on health, so I have to be careful here. Now, in order to get the correct speed, you have to kill that bear, or else he will hit you when you're trying to rev roll, and you can roll in any which direction. Because for some reason, the game decides that if you're rev rolling, or in the middle of charging up a rev roll, and you get hit by an enemy, you automatically turn to face that enemy, which wreaks havoc in some of the ice levels, where the rev roll rams like to roll into you while you're charging up your rev rolls and kill you. That was the entirety of Treewood Forest, just some careful platforming. Now, Butane Pain over here, this is where we get some sequence breaks as well as power-up abuse. So right here I get the metal power-up so that the Butane Burners don't hurt me. Rev roll through those two trees, and now I'm all the way over here. With the back. Oh, what is the camera angle? Now, butt bouncing right on the slope downwards for that net is actually a boost that I can do to get down that net faster. Now, here is the butane skip I was talking about. Okay. Usually I have to kill myself because I've taken 1 point of damage before that, which invalidates the trick. Really, you have to have full health if you want to do this trick. Oh, there it is. That's the trick. You jump over here to the next checkpoint, and everything's cool. Now since we have no health, we have to be careful with the saw, because one hit from the saw and we're dead. Once again, have to wait for that saw so we don't jump into it blindly. Now it is time for Inky, who has a ghost-shaped mech. I think it's more apt because they're all ghosts. But what do I know? Now, rolling into the side of these bosses more than once is possible just by holding forward after a rev roll. Come on. Oh, that's too bad. We almost got the second hit, but then he knocked us off with the blades. Luckily, every 2 hits is a checkpoint, so this isn't that bad. Whoa, what a guy. Yeah, a lot of the hitboxing in this game isn't very well designed. Things kind of just happen on a whim that aren't entirely the player's fault. I think it adds to the charm of the game. You know, although I definitely agree that this isn't the most well-designed game, I still find it fun. And that is Inky, who decided not to be nice to us today. It's okay. So up and coming right now is Ice River Run, which takes advantage once again of rev rolling. If you rev roll from snow onto ice instead of slipping, you will maintain all the momentum you would have had from that rev roll, and we can use that to break lots of sequence in Ice River Run. This level was designed with the idea. Oops. It's designed with the idea you shouldn't be able to walk on the ice freely. So rev rolling onto it defeats the entire design of the level. It makes it a lot easier. Sometimes these rev rolls can get quite wild, though. And if the run gets submitted, then I will practice it a lot to make sure that I know my route for Ice River Run 120%. I was lucky. Now, actually, jumping over here is optimal because it helps to avoid some of those avalanche snowballs. This is also another good time for reading donations. This is a time when I want to concentrate anyway. Now that was another example of butt bounce hitboxing, but on top of that, I got that power pellet intentionally. Not so I could eat the ghosts, but so that the ghosts would leave me alone. At the top of this hill, there's a ghost who throws snowballs at you, but if you have a power pellet, then she's so scared of you that she doesn't throw snowballs. Kind of like this one over here. Oops. And here's the end of the level. No careful ice programming, platforming required. Avalanche Alley is another Rev-Roll festival, only in a different kind of way. There isn't much ice here, but you are being chased by a giant snowball. So all the Rev-Rolls here are just to get as far away from that snowball as fast as you can. And also the camera decides it wants to point at you, rather than behind you, which I find to be a strange decision. But it is what it is. Now, I'm not 100% on the routing for this level, so once again, like, these deaths will not be present in a run if I get accepted. That is a solemn promise. I will learn the routing for this backwards and forwards, know exactly when and where to rev roll. Now rev rolling onto this ice gives us a nice speed boost. Take a pack chain to the checkpoint. So pretty much the entire first half of this level is this same rev rolling stuff, with a nice break in the middle for sequence breaks, and then it's doing the same thing inside of an ice cave. Ooh, that was a bad choice. Now jumping on top of this box and rev-rolling off of it gives us a massive speed boost, because we use rev-roll momentum, once again. And I purposely butt bounce on this because the slipping actually gives you another speed boost, giving maximum speed on this ice. Then a short sequence break here, and here we come to the main break of this level. Rolling into the blower gives us very large amounts of speed. Oh, come on. Yeah, the hitboxes in this game aren't the best. So I was on a portion of the land where I wasn't able to jump, but I was still able to maneuver a little bit. It's just one of the quirks of the game. But those are some negatives, but the positives are that the quirks of this game give us so many great skips, and making this a very viable speed game, especially for a marathon. In my estimate, by the time SGDQ rolls around, if I'm accepted, I'll have it at or under an hour. And I'll make sure to let you guys know when my time changes. So here we do some careful rev rolls just to get away from those rams, who are very good at hitting us. Just like that. Ended up killing me. Unfortunate. Even though they keep killing me, I don't think it's worth the time to kill all of them to stop them from... That's very annoying. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Finally. So here comes the second half of the level, which is the same thing as the first, except with a much worse camera. We actually take advantage of that same blower strat that we used before to propel ourselves forward in the level instead of forward and over a crevasse. Now these are my safe strats because I've already died 3 times due to rev-roll rams. I really don't want to risk doing a silly rev-roll and having to start over. Cool. Take the pack chain once again back to a checkpoint. That was silly. You can see how much this level likes to troll me. I haven't finished the level yet, and it's already telling me I'm 2 minutes ahead. This last pack chain leads to the end of Avalanche Alley. Now, Blade Mountain is another challenging level, similar in the fact that you have to have precise movement, but this one is centered around Pac-Man on not rollerblades, ice skates. Rollerblades come in World 6. So the name of the game with these ice skates is holding forward. The more you hold forward, the faster you go. And the more you turn, the more you lose your speed. So the goal of this is to hold forward as much as possible and turn as little as possible. Also, getting hit by icicles is a bad thing. Now you need all this speed because there are going to be ramps that you have to jump over. You have to jump off to get over bits of water that will kill you. These. Now the strat that we use is turning in the air. Turning in the air does not decrease your speed, so it allows you to make very sharp turns without a decrease in speed. That's unfortunate. This is also another good time to read off donations. There's not a lot to talk about. Now this part of the cave is different because there aren't icicles falling from the ceiling, but part of the floor has been removed and replaced with water. Personally, I like this better because I find it easier to dodge static pools of water than icicles falling on my head. That's just me. Now, keeping up speed in this latter half is incredibly important because there is a super large jump coming up at the end of this, and if you don't have enough speed, you're not going to make it. Getting pushed down to the last checkpoint is brutal. That was a really good jump. And this is the end of Ice River Run. Now it's time for Pinky, the boss of World 3, in a winter-themed snowball-throwing ghost machine. Now, as you fight more and more bosses, they do get harder and harder. So the first 2 cycles, Pinky requires 2 hits. But you can see I got 2 hits here, she didn't die. That's because on the second two, she requires 3 hits. Which I find to be a weird design decision again, but you know, I didn't make this game. So now she requires 3 more hits to defeat her. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, every time that we get a cutscene, it's a checkpoint, so no big deal. Wow. Yeah, not a lot of design thought went into this game. World 4 is all centered around volcanoes and magma. So the first level into the volcano, once again, fairly straightforward platforming. Few minor skips. So I always attempt this once. If I miss it, I go for the standard strat. Yeah, most of the... Wow. That was really silly. Most of this is straightforward platforming, really. Good for reading donations, not a whole lot's going on. That's incredibly frustrating. Now here's another prime example of butt bounce hitboxing. I wouldn't say blindly, but with pretty much abandon, just butt bouncing on those thin strips of rock, almost going to guarantee that you hit them because of the size of Pac-Man's hitbox after a butt bounce. And we skip all the unnecessary cutscene stuff by hitting buttons. Once again, a pretty good time for donations. Not a whole lot's going on. Now, this is the hardest skip in the game, and this requires not only abusing the metal power-up, but also clipping out of bounds. So let's see if I can get this. In terms of a safety backup for the run, I will have my memory card handy, so if I don't get it in, say, 5 tries, then I can load a save where I can skip past this level. So what I did there is I went and I got the metal power-up, which makes me invulnerable to lava. And then from that, I went as fast as I could to the place where the skip is performed, which requires lots of optimization, because you only get 25 seconds on the metal power-up. Rev roll, and clip out of bounds. Now it becomes a jumping race. If I can get single-click jumps, then most of the time I should be able to get all the way through, but obviously I didn't have enough time here, so I'm going to hit the lava and die. Now, not only is this skip incredibly easy to reset because it happens at the very beginning of the level, but even if you die in game over, since it's the beginning of the level, it's incredibly easy to reset. Now, I'm not going to waste anyone's time at this marathon, so this is my 3rd attempt. If I give it 2 more after this and don't get it, I'll take the time hit and I will reload my save from my memory card that I've got over here. But I do think it's important to showcase the glitch itself, because it's incredibly unique to this game, and not only is it a lot of fun to perform, but it also looks really cool. Okay, that was it. I got the glitch. Now I have to walk over here slowly and fall onto the loading zone at the end of the level. There, I got it. And that is Volcanic Panic Skip. Now you see that I've lost so much time is because in my PB I got it first try, which I was very proud of. Now we have another butt bounce hitboxing skip in Magma Opus called, we call it French Toast Skip, because the platform that you're skipping looks like a piece of floating French toast. It'll be coming up pretty soon here. Oh, that's silly. Never understood that. I went through a checkpoint, and 10 seconds later, nice camera, I go through another checkpoint. So here, I'm supposed to go up into that corner and get a metal power-up, and then jump on this lava guy's head. But what I can do instead is either I can rev roll off the top of one of those rock platforms, or I can get just the right butt bounce at the very tip of one of them to get close enough to, to grab the ledge. So I'm going to try and showcase that right now. And that was really close. That was really close butt bounce hitboxing. Now, same for Volcanic Panic Skip. I'm going to give this, like, 5 or 6 more tries. And if I don't get it, I can always just load a save so that it's marathon safe. Don't want to keep the people waiting. Now, I do think that French Toast Skip is a lot less cool than VP Skip is. VP for Volcanic Panic. But I still think it's important to see, and people think it's interesting. Okay, this is the last try before I put in the memory card and load the save. Now, although loading a save to skip a level does invalidate a run, I think it's better to be marathon safe than, to keep the validity of the run in case I PB. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna load the save. Now, during the actual marathon, I would keep the memory card in the GameCube or Wii, so that when I exit out, the load option is still there. But for sake of this run, I took it out, just because the prompt for saving is silly and I don't like it. As you can see, I took a lot of time on French Toast Skip. So the next level after Magma Opus is the boss Clyde. And Clyde is a terribly difficult boss. For some reason, his difficulty is incredibly disproportionate to that of all the other bosses. His body's made out of metal, so you can't rev roll into him. You have to butt bounce on the top of the glass. And in order to do that, you have to wait for a time here, where he allows you to, basically. And every 2 times you butt bounce on the glass, the hitbox for it gets smaller and smaller. And when I say small, I mean like small to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. Now, not only is this a good time for donations, but it's also a great time for listening to the music. In my opinion, one of the best parts about this game is its music. I love listening to it, because I find it not only like written well, but also interesting to listen to. So, fun little fact that Clyde's aim is so bad that you can stand still and have a better chance of dodging his fireballs than if you were walking around. Now, the intended strategy for this is actually to do a double butt bounce every time you attack Clyde. But once again, I find it faster not to do that because... faster for me personally, because I keep dying. But I will try very hard to implement the 2 butt bounce strategy if my run gets accepted. That was actually bad RNG that I got hit by Fireball twice. Two more hits and Clyde is done. Now it just gets harder and harder every time, because the hitbox for a successful hit on that is so small. That was actually a really good glide. Oops. Now we move on to our next level, Scuba Duba. Let me take this out. These levels are practically auto-scrollers. Very good for reading donations. All I do is sit here and press B so that Pac-Man can spin. This is the only point in the run where I think the music is terribly repetitive, just because of the way they looped it. You'll see, especially in Yellow Pac-Marine, the level after this next level, is that the way they looped the music was horrendous. It's just annoying to listen to, especially since the Yellow Pac-Marine is an 8-minute auto-scroller, which is never good for a speedrun. Now the goal is to press B methodically so that you maximize speed. So you want to press B right when you see Pac-Man's flippers start moving again, because that means he's done coasting. Coasting from the speed boost you gave him by pressing B. Pressing B too quickly won't give you the speed boost, and not pressing B quickly enough is going to cause him to slow down by swimming with his flippers again. Okay, to be careful here. They don't usually get hit so many times. That's unfortunate. So during the actual marathon, I forgot to mention this during Volcanic Panic, a donation incentive I could do would be that personally I will donate $1 for every time that I miss Volcanic Panic skip. So that could be a fun little thing to get friends in on, or people in the chat, or whatever it is. Since Volcanic Panic skip is not only the coolest skip in the game, but also the hardest. So that's going to force me to want to be incredibly precise with my Volcanic Panics. There we go. That's the end of Scuba Duba. Time for Shark Attack, which is another auto-scroller. That was an interesting damage boost that I got off one of those mines. They're rare, but they do occur. I haven't been able to get them consistent so that they actually help the run yet, but it's something to look into. Well, that is the end of Shark Attack. Pretty much the same level as Scuba Doo, but just press B. Now, Yellow Pack Marine is annoying because not only do you have to dodge things, you also have to blow up. You have to blow up landmines or underwater mines. Plus, this is the level with the really bad music track. No, excuse me. This is a prime time for donations. This entire world is a prime time for donations. Simply because of the horribly boring auto-scrolling elements here. Now this gives me either a smart bomb or holding onto it acts as if it's another hit of damage, which is what I want. I don't really have a use for a smart bomb, but if I'm one hit farther away from dying, then I will take that. And later on down the line, there are going to be little lobster robots that'll give me a pellet gun I can use, which, on top of being functional, also acts as a second hit of damage. I guess now is a better time than any to talk about why I think Pac-Man World 2 should be, admitted to GDQ. Not only has it never been run at any GDQ prior, but also the unique mix of, bad design and coding mixed with incredibly exploitable elements such as the rev roll and the butt bounce not only make for an interesting run with a lot of room for good commentary, but it's the music itself. The music is a big selling point of this. Aside from this track right now, most of the music is fantastic. And I don't think anything is better than the combination of good music, highly exploitable gameplay, and, a really odd twist on a classic video game such as Pac-Man. Who would have thought to make Pac-Man 3D and jumping around platforms and wearing ice skates? Like, the idea itself is so silly, but this game was a massive part of my childhood. I played this for a long time, and I was never able to beat it. I always got stuck on these levels right here, especially the boss that comes up next, Mega Whale. Probably a harder boss than Clyde when you first start out playing casually. Just because Mega Whale is, unrelenting in the bombs that he drops and all the stuff like that. You guys will see what Mega Whale is like next level. But I really do think that Pac-Man World 2 would be a very good marathon game, even if it's not on during prime time. Not only would I be honored to run it, but I'd also be ecstatic to see it get into a GDQ regardless. I think it has a lot to offer to the community. Speaking of the community, getting the name of the community out there is also important to me. You know, I'm fairly new to this community, which is why I don't have rock solid time like 45 minutes. But I think we have a great bunch of guys, and it would do nothing but benefit the community if the word got out about Pac-Man World 2 and more people started running it. You know, and I think GDQ is a really good place to do that, because that's where all the greatest speedrunners come together, and they raise money for a great cause. So to have your community's game featured at that is an honor. And I think it'd be really good for the Pac-Man World 2 community. Yeah, this is the loop I'm talking about. It stops, sits for like 10 seconds, and then just starts up again, which is a very abrupt cutoff for the way that the music itself ends. So I think that the designers and the programmers of this game, you know, looked over a lot of stuff that could have been smoothed out and polished. Like, don't get me wrong, the game is functional, but there are just these little idiosyncrasies with it where things just aren't quite fitting together correctly. And I do think it adds to the charm of the game, from a subjective standpoint. But I could definitely, if there were ever an HD re-release, I could do without this entire world, filled with auto-scrollers. Now, as a little preempt to the next boss, the next boss is a giant whale-shaped submarine, where your goal as Pac-Man is to knock all of the rotors off the back of Mega Whale. The propeller, should I say. So, the optimal strat is actually to get a one cycle, which is to damage all of the propellers to almost falling off, and then hit all four at once, but that's incredibly difficult with the landmines that are in front of you and the enemies that are trying to bomb into you. Once again, if my run does get in, then I will definitely put more practice into my one cycle Mega Whale. Oops, that was silly. So currently I'm focusing on the top right propeller. Okay, I got it. Now take a little bit onslaught of enemies and come back to Mega Whale. Sometimes the ghosts in the subs can actually go run in and destroy rotors for you, or propellers, should I say, which I think is really funny. Well, that was silly. Pretty much asked that mine to hit me. It's a very slow force cycle. There it is. That's Mega Whale. Now it's time for the Haunted Boardwalk, which is probably one of my least favorite levels. Because I don't really like roller skates Pac-Man. But hey, that's just me. So with roller skates Pac-Man, like, holding forward doesn't make you go really, really fast. Pac-Man has a very slow, bounded upper speed. So it's no fun. You just have to do platforming and avoid getting fireballs thrown at you by ghosts. The next level, night crawling, is much more fun. Oop, that was silly. Man, I did that twice in a row. Being this is a level where I have to focus on, donations are probably it's a really good time to read donations here. That was another example of butt bounce hitboxing, where I didn't have to grab the ledge, I just bounced up onto it. Ooh, that could have been bad. That's unfortunate. If you don't grab that right away, there's a very slim chance of you doing the animation to get back up onto it before it falls over. Luckily, it wasn't too far away. Oh, that was silly. I could have gotten up there. That was a big loss. I was pretty close to the next checkpoint. Oh, unfortunate. The checkpoint system in this level specifically is really weird. So you can go a long time without getting a checkpoint, which makes dying just horribly costly. Oh, that's so damn. That's bad. Haunted Boardwalk is definitely something that needs practice, for me personally. It's just eating up all my time saved. Yeah, that was right before the end of the level. So I got to the end of the level like 2 times. And then dying on the last jump. It's unfortunate, but it's the way speedrunning is. This is a much nicer level than me night crawling. First thing I have to do is I have to get that apple over there. There are a couple fruits that are actually required to collect because they help you advance through the level. That apple and one more are one thing. This is another level where rev rolling is really important. So here I'm purposely going this way through the maze so that I can get to the strawberry, I believe, faster. This guy's got the fruit that I need. I can open it here. There you go. That's what my fruit needed to open. Oops. I'm gonna take the safe strat and just bounce down. Nice. Now this next level boasts a very large sequence break, in which an old tree is asking you to complete a maze. Oops, that was silly. Before unblocking things for you, and I just say no thanks, and I roll over the wall. So we'll see it here. Once again, I'm implementing safe strats because the rev rolls can be quite unpredictable. So by the time that I am ready to run this, if I get accepted, these will all, I will rev roll up all of these and it'll be much faster. Nice. And that's it, just rolled right over the wall, skipped more than half the level. Now we got some really fancy rev rolls over here. Help us get to the end of the level faster. Okay, cool. There we go. Nice lag. GameCube. Now we're home free. Ready to fight Spooky. With this terrible dip in frame rate. So the intended way to do the spooky fight is that before cutscene, you can actually get out of the cutscene and jump and do two kickflips. I've only really consistent doing it once, and then doing the intended way the rest of the time. Darn it, I missed it. So basically, the intended way to do this is just to jump over stuff he shoots at you until he shoots an enemy with sparkles on it, then you can kickflip him. So it's 4 hits per cycle before I get a cutscene. 3 cutscenes, so 12 hits in all. And on the final hit on Spooky is when timing for this category ends. So now the way I'm supposed to do it is I roll in here and purposely kill myself, because I got a cutscene. Good. And I got one hit on him out of the two I was supposed to get. Which just makes one fewer of these cycles I have to sit and wait for. I'm always hopeful that I can get a second kickflip on him after I do the initial one down here. I don't think it's possible. I've never been able to get it. Okay, time for the final 4 hits. Just fall into this tornado and get a free hit. Good. You know it works if you skip his dialogue cutscene. Now I only have 3 more hits on him. And that will be time. Now, even though I'm probably going to finish this with a 1:16, I'm still putting my estimated time of 1:30, because I want to put more than like 2 or 3 tries into Volcanic Panic Skin before I switch to a memory card. Okay, 1 more hit on Spooky. Will be good. There it is. That was Pac-Man World 2, any percent. In this case, it was 1:15:16, but of course this run doesn't count because it was spliced. During the marathon, that doesn't really matter. I will gladly load from a memory card if it takes too long to do Volcanic Panic. But anyway, thank you for watching. Once again, I am JDog653, submitting Pac-Man World 2 any percent for Summer Games Done Quick 2016. Thank you, and goodbye.